happening? This is the Blue Review. Let's check out what people have to say. We're going to get into the pen. We're going to get into Julio Urias. We're going to get into Cody Bellinger. But I want to read what you guys have to say. Let's go. What a win. All right. Whew, I know we were all just a little bit worried there. I was a little bit worried. You were a little bit worried. But hey, Kenley came through for his 14th save, and the Dodgers sweep the Padres and are now 29-16 and leading the NL West by four games, and really all of baseball right now. My name is Greg Bergman. You can find me on Twitter at BergmanGreg. You can find me on Instagram at BergmanGreg as well. And this is the Blue Review, brought to you by ESPN LA, where we are all loving every segment of this. And with every Dodger win, what we love to do is the first thing is to go talk to the people and see what they want to talk about and what you guys are enjoying. So let's look over here on the Periscope first, and it says, "Hello, Greg. How are you?" I'm great. I'm fantastic. I forgot to turn on Instagram, which I always seem to do, but welcome in Instagram. Really appreciate you being here as always. Let's go over to the chat, and we said, I got sweep. That's right. It's a sweep. Don't you love saying those words? Sweep. When you sweep the Padres, who are kind of trying to be that team in the NL West that's going to try to catch up with you. It feels so good to get these wins early on, right? When you can now have taken 4 out of 5 against the Padres. I know you play, was it 18 or 19? I think it's 19 games against them. It's still nice to have those 4 games early on, just so later on, if they somehow get hot and they really do keep it up, it's nice to have the early wins against them. So, big win. Chase Aguirre, what's up, Greg? Dodgers win again, baby. Got Renfroe this time. Yes, getting Renfroe, who beat them last Sunday when they were in San Diego. A grand slam off of Kenley Jansen. Beat the only game that the Padres have won in this series so far was against Kenley Jansen. Basically the same situation. And again, but tonight, not what happens. Whew, makes me feel much better. Feel a little bit more excited about watching this. And by the way, since I've been doing the Blue Review on every Wednesday, I believe I've only been here for 1 loss. Someone can tell me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I've only been here for 1 loss. And you know what? I can't even remember what game that was that there was a loss. I just remember coming on after a loss. I'd have to really go back and look at it, but hell yes. Let's see. Lola the Hut, I had to stop watching when Kenley started pitching. So much anxiety. Glad he got it done. You got to start believing in Kenley. It's time to start believing in him. He has 14 saves. I know he gets himself into a little bit of trouble. He puts guys on the bases pretty consistently, unfortunately, but still, he is the closer. He's with him, we go. So very much believe in Kenley. He will absolutely be somebody to push us through. And before I get into my topics and more of what you guys want to talk about, I do want to talk about this shirt real fast, because this was Cody Bellinger hit his first home run in what seemed like forever, about 2 weeks, last night against the Padres. And so I had to wear this new shirt, and this one is from at Bleed Los. If you go onto their Twitter or their Instagram, at Bleed Los has all these cool shirts, and every shirt I've been wearing this year has all been from them, and these are all pretty badass shirts, and they fit really well. Eat, sleep, hit, bombs, repeat, hashtag belly bomb. That is a badass shirt, and I have a bunch of them. I got more. I got a Max Muncy, Mad Max Muncy shirt at home. I got a whole bunch of them from these shirts are extremely comfortable. I can wear them out and be just cool with it. I'll go to Dodger games, doesn't matter. Really, really good shirts, and they are the official logo apparel. They are the apparel sponsor for the Blue Review. All right, thank you very much for that. And now let's get one more question in from each of these. I got Selly Sells Cubs game. Oh yeah, it was the Cubs. See, you actually know. This is amazing, by the way. The fact that you know which game it was that I lost. Yes, I was here on a loss. It was a Sunday Cubs game that they lost. You're right. Forgot about that. You cause a Dodger loss, Frank Talk LA? Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes it happens. Mr. Keith LA, are you still at the studio? Yes, Keith. I am 100% still at the studio. This is all the normal stuff all around me. I am at the studio. I've been here since 9 o'clock this morning, and I probably won't leave here. It's 10:30 now, just starting. I'm not going to leave here until at least 11:30 at night tonight. And that, you know what? That's fine, because I love doing this with you guys, and I'm happy to talk Dodgers all the time with you. That's the best thing I can possibly do. All right, so let me get into my topics, and we'll get into all the things that you guys want to talk about. But just so you are aware, I'm on Facebook. Under Greg Bergman. I am on Instagram under at Bergman Greg, at ESPN LA or at ESPN Los Angeles on Periscope, and I'm also on Twitch. It's MPG_postgame, but I can't change it. It needs like 3 weeks for me to change the name for it. And also on the Blue Review, Greg Bergman on YouTube as well. So follow my YouTube page as well, because I might start adding extra stuff in there as well. All right, so where do we start? Where's the best place to start, do you think? Oh, Kenta Maeda. Wow, what a performance from Kenta Maeda, and we are going to talk a little bit about why he actually left the game, and that's partly part of my number 2 topic, but the first one is definitely about Kenta Maeda, and he was fantastic tonight, and really, the entire pitching staff recently has been fantastic. He just kind of is going along with everybody else. You had Hyun-Jin Ryu has been phenomenal in all. He's Cy Young worthy early on in the beginning of the year, how great he's been. But Kenta Maeda was followed up and had an outstanding performance. 12 Ks, 6 2/3 innings, only 85 pitches. And also, he had the 2 runs. He was the one that scored the two runs. He had a bloop single to right field, and that scored the 2 runs that all you needed. That was it. And the Dodgers win 2-0 because of Kenta Maeda. This was all on Maeda. Now, I know the biggest question about all of this is why did Dave Roberts pull Kenta Maeda there? I don't have a great answer for you. I'm going to just try and figure it out for you, because I don't understand it either. You were going up against a guy that is in his second career start at catcher in Austin Allen, and he was coming up. You had 2 outs. You just had a strikeout. You're at 85 pitches. It makes sense. I understand why Scott Alexander would come in that situation, because he's a ground ball. He induces ground balls, and that's what you kind of want there. You want Allen to go into a ground ball, get the out in a couple different spots. It worked. You got the ground ball to first base, and David Freese was able to just step on first, and that was the end of the inning. So basically, you got what you wanted. However, I thought that would have been a much, much better situation for him. So I don't know. It's one of the weird things. And by the way, I'm just going to stop real fast because this is an odd one. Lawler's Law. Dude, I thought you were black until I watched this stream. Hey, you know what? I'm going to take it as a compliment, I guess. So that's the way we're going to go there. So thank you for that, Lawler's Law. And so by doing that, by taking him out there, I don't know if it's waiting for another situation where you just don't want him to work too hard. I don't save him for a little bit. I can't give you a great reason for it. It really doesn't make that much sense to me. And one of the reasons, I mean, look, let's put it this way. When Dave Roberts came to Kenta Maeda, he said something to him. Kenta laughed a little bit, shook his head yeah, I got it, okay. And then he just was messing around with Russell Martin, and then he went off the field. He didn't really seem like he cared all that much. It didn't seem like it was a situation where he was like, I need to stay in this game. This is important to me. And what I'm sure it was, but he understood while he was out. And that brings me to the second point of my topics here, is the buy-in. And Joe Davis and Oral Hershiser were talking just about this in the 7th inning or the beginning of the 8th or the bottom of the 7th inning after they took out Kenta Maeda, because this was obviously the big question. And the way that Oral Hershiser was saying, and I totally agree with him, is it's all about buy-in. And that all of these guys, doesn't matter who you are, whether it's Kenta Maeda, Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler, Rich Hill, whoever it happens to be, Hyun-Jin Ryu, whoever it happens to be on the mound at that time, they know exactly who it's going to be. They know what's going to happen. When Dave Robert comes out there, he knows why. You know that you're being taken out, and you understand the reasoning behind it already. They have a situation where they just know that whatever Dave Roberts does, they are totally bought into. So in that sense, I agree with what they're doing, because look, if you have the entire team on one page, and by having everybody on the same page, that's going to lead you to success. That's going to lead you back to the World Series and hopefully win it this year. So if everybody's bought in, and including Kenta Maeda being understanding of why he was taken out of that game, then I'm going to be as okay with it as I possibly can be, and hopefully as okay with it as you possibly can be as well. And so, look, I would love to hear what Dave Roberts says after the game to say why he did it, but most likely he's going to be like, you know what? The matchup was there. We liked what we thought we saw from Scott Alexander. He had the best opportunity for us to succeed because if he gets the ground balls, whatever. It's going to be something along those lines. It's going to be a lot of coach speak. It's going to be a lot of, just listening to what the front office has to say and really just beating that as a drum. So he's not going to say much, so don't get excited in that sense, but hopefully it all works out. All right, so happy birthday, Alex Verdugo. Good for you, man. Happy 23 years old today, Alex Verdugo. And he said before the game that he doesn't play very well on his birthday, and he was okay today. He beat out a single. He scored a run. He got hit by a pitch. The hit by a pitch part isn't the best part, but he did things here and there. Wasn't his best outing. The biggest swing that he had really it was just a fly ball. Nothing really all that big. Cold air brought it back. It was nothing all that important, but Alex Verdugo was happy birthday, Alex Verdugo. I think that's the most important thing in this situation here. And now I have to talk about this because I know that's kind of the biggest overarching thing that's happening with the Dodgers despite the win. And it's a very tough situation to talk about, and I'll talk about it throughout if you want me to, but for the most part, I want to just kind of talk about it right now and be done with it, and that's with Julio Urias. We do not know details, and I think that's the biggest part of this whole thing is not understanding what it is that actually happened. There is video. That's why he was arrested. The woman, I don't know how she is related. I don't know if she's a girlfriend, a wife, a sister, I don't know what she is. I just know that she is a woman, and apparently Julio Urias pushed this woman to the ground in a parking structure at the Beverly Center. That's all that I am understanding. Just without video, I don't know, so I can't say that what's going to happen to him, good or bad. However, and I'm going to say this, if it looks bad, Julio Urias should not be on the Dodgers roster any longer. And I don't want to hear anything about, it's just a push. Or what? Maybe if it was self-defense, then maybe it was self-defense. But from the way it sounds, doesn't really seem like self-defense. However, there needs to be a hardline stance at some point, and somebody needs to be made an example. And just because he's a Dodger doesn't mean that it makes it any better. I think Julio Urias is a tremendous talent. He is going to be a fantastic baseball player, and hopefully this video shows absolutely nothing, and he's back and everything is totally fine. But if it doesn't, there needs to be, in baseball, in sports in general, NBA, NHL, NFL, I don't care what it is, domestic violence is a problem. There are too many stories going back and forth about all of these domestic violences that are happening throughout. I don't care if you're bigger, smaller, whatever you are, you do not hit or push a woman, period. Especially when you're bigger, you're stronger. Look, my girlfriend Michelle is very strong. She's smaller than me, but she's very strong, and I think she could really put a punch into me. I would never touch her, ever. I would never push her, never punch her, because no matter what, even though that I'm not that big of a guy, I could still, it wouldn't be fair. Doesn't matter who you are. You do not hit women, period. And the Dodgers, I believe, have a zero tolerance policy. So if something bad is there, he will be let go, or at least I hope, because I don't want to root for that guy. And maybe you do. But at some point, we need to understand, and it all has to be, and like pontificating PhD, what's up, Daryl, was saying consistency is the key. It is. Everybody from every single sport needs to have this idea. Talent does not equal morality. It is not an overarching thing. It does not supersede morality. Your morals and who you are as a person is way more important than the talent that you put out on the field. All right, that is the end of my little rant here. If you want to talk about it more, I'm happy to do it, but I really would like to stick to the actual Dodgers and this win. I know that's a tough thing to talk about, but it is such an overarching thing. I know I keep saying overarching. I get one word every single show where I just continually use it over and over again, but that's because, you know what, look, why don't you sit in front of a camera and look at yourself for an hour and try not to say the same thing over and over again? It's hard. It's not an easy thing to do. So, all right, that's enough out of me. I'm going to go into what you guys want to talk about, because that's what the Blue Review is all about. It's all about what you guys want to talk about. It's all about you guys and what your thoughts on were about the game, about everything. I'm going to start, and I'm going to look over to my right, because I made a whole nother screen so that I can see other people saying things on. I have a lot of other things. I'm trying out this new way of doing it so I don't have my screen too filled up. Jermaine Armenta, another game, another win by our boys in blue. Maeda was looking sharp out there. Jansen hung in. Anyone still miss Puig? Not me. Look, no, I never have. And as soon as Puig left, I thought it was the right move. I'm very, very happy with what I'm seeing from this outfield. I don't know who wouldn't be. You now have Jock Peterson, who's usually in left field against a righty, and has 12, I think he has 12 or 13 home runs now. Cody Bellinger is the best hitter in baseball. He went 0 for 3 tonight, and he dropped his batting average to 401. Let's just say that one more time. Cody Bellinger went 0 for 3, and he dropped his batting average to 401. It's bananas what he is doing out there. AJ Pollock is not playing because he's injured. You get more time from Alex Verdugo, and Alex Verdugo has been killing it. He has been fantastic, especially in the time that he's been out there. And look, if you look at Alex Verdugo right now, on the year, batting 330, 377 on base percentage, 536 slugging percentage. That's a 900 OPS. He's got an over 900 OPS right now. That's fantastic. You're not going to get that from Yasiel Puig. Yasiel Puig is going to get you a big hit every once in a while. He did it tonight. He had a walk-off single tonight against the Cubs, I believe. And now we get to go see them. We get to go see Yasiel Puig in Cincinnati this coming weekend. And I believe it goes Hill, Buehler, Ryu. I like that. I'm a big fan of that. Julian Watt, 619. Go Dodgers. Love that. Steven So, 8. Julio. Yeah, yep. As much as I love the Dodgers, we can't be double standard. Absolutely agree with you. Grubbing Gunner, best pitching staff in MLB last 2 weeks. Can we sustain it? I don't see why not. You're looking at guys that are all... Look, Walker Buehler was supposed to be the star of this pitching staff. Clayton Kershaw is still Clayton Kershaw, especially in the regular season. He's been giving up more runs than normal, but he's getting wins. They have won every game that he has pitched in this year. I believe he's 4-0, and I've six games, I believe. It's either 5 games or 6 games, and they're 3-0 or whatever. They've won every game that Clayton Kershaw has pitched this year. That's a big thing. Rich Hill, while he's struggling early on, he ends up getting through. And Hyun-Jin Ryu is if the season ended right now, I believe Hyun-Jin Ryu would be the Cy Young and Cody Bellinger would be the MVP of the league right now. Those two guys are playing out of their minds, and barring any type of injury, yes, I think it's absolutely sustainable all the way through. Let's see. Chase Aguirre, the team is so deep, man. That's the biggest thing. It is so deep. And by losing Urias, you still have, there's so many other guys that can still come in and take over that spot. Yes, and someone was talking about Caleb Ferguson. We need Caleb Ferguson. Someone was in there. Caleb Ferguson, yes, he's going to be on his way back soon. He should be coming back soon. So should Tony Cingrani. Tony Cingrani should be on his way back. The pitching staff is good. I worry a little bit about the bullpen just because, bullpens fluctuate from game to game and you can't really trust everybody. Look, Pedro Baez, big outing tonight, was very good. Scott Alexander did the things that he needed to do. Alexander got 2 ground balls, and that's what you wanted. He dropped one, which was very disappointing, but he still did what he needed to do in that situation. Baymax Bay. Maxim Bay. Kenta is getting results, but his execution is deeply flawed. Lots of center pitches. There have been some of those. It depends on, yes, recently. Not so much tonight. He was hitting the sides. He was going after, especially the outside corner. He was hitting that over and over and over again all night tonight. And if I was, I was wondering about Kenta Maeda's starts just in general. So let me get, where did he go? I had his whole, there he is. All right, Kenta Maeda has been very, very odd this year. He had, in his first start, 6 2/3 inning, 3 earned runs. So he's giving up runs, but he was a good outing. The next outing, 5 innings, 1 earned run. Then 5 1/3 innings, 5 earned runs. Then it goes to April 16th, 6 2/3, 1 earned run. Then it goes 4 innings, 6 earned runs. Then San Francisco, 5 innings, 0 earned runs. Oh, so we're going back and forth. And then against San Diego last week, 4 earned runs in 6 innings. And then in his last start against Washington, he gave up 1 hit, no earned runs, 6 innings pitched. And again then tonight, 6 2/3 innings pitched, no earned runs. That is 12 2/3 innings pitched with 0 earned runs in a row, all for that. And it looks like my Instagram decided to start verifying an update right in the middle of me doing this. That is ridiculous. I don't know why it's doing that. So if you're on Instagram, I'm sorry. If you can still hear me, my phone is deciding that it wants to update in the middle of this, which is kind of ridiculous since I didn't agree to that update. All right, Julian Watt 619. He comes back Friday. There you go. So So I'm assuming you're talking about Caleb Ferguson coming back on Friday against Cincinnati in Cincinnati. Frank the Tank 231. Are you okay with Jansen calling his own pitches while ignoring the scouting report? Frank the Tank, yes, I am. There has to be a situation in between the analytics and feel. And when you have a pitcher like Kenley Jansen, who is a lot off of feel, using his cutter, trying to mix speeds and doing a lot of different things, you have to be okay with what he's doing. And yep, there goes Instagram, totally turned off. That's awesome. Thanks a lot, phone. Apple, exactly what you want. So yeah, I'm fine with him doing that. I think it's actually a good thing that he does that, because makes him. Look what you saw from him tonight. He shook off Russell Martin over and over again, because he knew what he wanted to pitch, he knew what he could pitch, and he knew where he wanted it to be, and that's what happened. So you can't be upset with that whatsoever, and I'm happy with him doing that. I want guys to be doing that. I think that's important. Let's see. Bay Max. Okay, I've convinced you. Good. Steven So 8. We should pull Kenta anytime he gives up 2 earned runs. I mean, yeah, look, Kenta Maeda, again, another weird thing about Kenta Maeda is that he's another one of those guys that if he gets out of that first inning, it really makes a huge difference for who he is. In the first inning, when he gives up runs, he has close to a 5 ERA. And then every inning after that, for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right around that area, he drops like 3.5, 3.1, 2.3, 2.5. It's pretty insane, and I actually took a picture of it because I thought it was pretty interesting to see. So he has a 5 ERA in the first inning, 3.6 in the second, 3.6 in the third, 2.5 in the fourth, 2.9 in the fifth, and then it pops back up to about 5 in the 6th inning. So that's where he was tonight. He had a runner on base. He had 6 2/3 innings, and that was at a point, and then again in the 7th inning, 5.75. So that 6th and 7th inning is where he's been having most of his trouble. 1, 6, and 7. That's probably the reason that Roberts took him out in that situation. While we don't have to agree with it because he was really moving, that was the analytics pay off in that way, and it ended up working out. Alexander got the ground out. Then you had Baez come in, and after the misplay by Scott Alexander in the next inning, you had that go. You had Pedro Baez get out of that for him, and then even despite the fact that he put a couple guys on, Kenley Jansen got out of it in the 9th and got his 14th save. So all these things are working out in the right way. Nick Byerley, our team is ridiculously good. This is the year. Third straight trip to the World Series. We will win. I love that. That's exactly what you want to hear. And I agree with you. I think this has to be it. Barring any type of injury, this team is just too good. They're totally bought in. They just, from top to bottom in every single situation, they have a guy ready to step up and be better than the other guy. They're ready. They want to be better than everybody else. It's been really nice to see. Let's see. Kevin Meteor, Shannon Sharp grilled Michael Rappaport. I didn't see that. You ain't down. Hashtag stop hitting Turner. Oh, look, it's kind of unbelievable what's happening with Justin Turner right now. 4 games in a row, he's gotten hit. He's got hit in the right arm. He's got hit in the left arm. Over and over again, Justin Turner is getting hit. And at some point, there has to be some type of retaliation to say, like, hey, stop going inside on you, okay? This is not the time. You can't keep going in and you can't keep hitting him. Stop it. Last year, in the beginning of the year, you hit him in the hand and broke his hand. That's a problem. Stop going inside on this guy. I know he's close to the plate. I get it, and you're trying to push him back a little bit. He's not going anywhere. Stay away from that. Tony Zavala 67 Instagram feed went down. I know my phone that I'm using to use Instagram, so I have a whole separate thing. Look at this. If you're here, you can see my phone is now updating. This is the update for Insta. This was my Instagram. It is now updating. So that's why the Instagram feed went down, which I'm not happy about whatsoever because it just decided, hey, I'm going to do that. Really great for me. Al's Acoustic. Why don't we retaliate when they hit us? Because they're trying to get rid of that portion of the game, and at some point, somebody is going to have to just throw behind somebody. Don't hit them in the head. Hit them in the butt. Hit them somewhere that's not going to hurt them. You don't want to hurt anybody, but still, you got to do something to make it. Because right now, and Oral Hershiser again was talking about it on the broadcast. Back in his day, back in his day, he was a guy that they would protect their hitters, and they would throw inside, and they would throw behind somebody, and they would do something, hit him in the butt, hit him somewhere with a soft pitch, a curveball or a slider, something that's going to come and not really injure them, but just kind of hit them and be like, hey, that's enough. All right, let's see. Some kind of wonder. Please give the front office some love, man. All these haters during the offseason are eating crow now. Look, that is one thing you will never, ever hear me do. Not once. I will never say anything negative about the front office. The front office has been nothing but fantastic all the way through. They do exactly what's needed to happen. They make sure that they get the right guys. They do everything. And yes, Lucio on YouTube, Instagram is down because my phone is updating. It decided to update out of nowhere, and I'm sorry if you were on Instagram. Hopefully I can get it back up in the middle of this at some point. I'm sorry if I can't. But the front office, when it gets to time to be in, when it gets to the trade deadline, last year they went out and they got Manny Machado, they got Brian Dozier, they got guys that you needed moving forward to get into the playoffs and be big pieces in the playoffs. They went 2 years ago, they got Tony Watson and Tony Cingrani and Yu Darvish, who was, I don't want to get into the whole World Series thing with Yu Darvish, but he was the prize of the trade deadline, and they've made the right moves to get the right guys to get them back to the World Series, and I absolutely trust that this front office will do just that. So if we have to just worry a little bit about, they're going to use analytics here, and in May, in the middle of May, we're on May 13th. If we're going to start really getting worried about, why did you take a guy out here? Why didn't you take Kike Hernandez out here? Why did you leave Kike in here? Why didn't you take out Jock and put in Taylor? Why didn't you do those little moves? All of those little moves are either going to work or not, but for the most part, they are usually spot on with who they want, and the analytics will get us there to where we need to be and usually get those wins, especially in May. And now look, a lot of times the analytics say to take Kike Hernandez out of the game in late innings for his defense. Well, not tonight, and it paid off tremendously. Kike Hernandez's defense has been fantastic to the point where just tonight there was a shot up the middle. He dove, caught the ball, and made a highlight play to first base to get Franmil Reyes out at first. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful web gem style play right there. So if that was one of those times where you're glad, absolutely glad that that he was not taken out. Other teams retaliate. Yep, a lot of other teams do, but you know what? That's not how they're going to work. D Fanatic, hitting someone doesn't win you games. Don't give away bases, and that's the biggest thing right there. D Fanatic hit it right on the head. When you hit somebody, you're giving somebody a free base, and that is the exact opposite of what analytics say to do. Analytics says give no free bases. No, do not give away outs ever. They are wasted. That's why they don't really like bunting all that much, because a lot of time a bunt is a wasted out. Yes, you move somebody over, and Chris Taylor was put down a bunt today, but he was actually trying to get a bunt hit there. He just didn't put it in the right spot. He was able to, and he barely missed getting a single out. If he was just over down the third base line a little bit more, he would have been on first base and a bunt hit, and he would have had first and second. But he did move the guy over. But it's usually you don't see too many bunts from this team unless they're trying to beat the shift to the left side, because that's giving away an out, and analytics hates that. Let's see. So Chase Aguirre, who could be that guy at the deadline this year? It could be anybody. It depends on what you're really looking for. You're probably not looking for catcher, because they don't value that as much as other positions. And you know what? Let me get into the catching real fast before I get back into that question, Chase. I'll come back to it. And I think some kind of Wander is talking about it as well. Do you think the catching situation from a hitting standpoint might need to be upgraded at the deadline? There you go. Okay, so this is all kind of works with it. I think there's enough guys inside the Dodgers organization that you don't need to. Will Smith, last I looked, was hitting very well in AAA. Keibert Ruiz was struggling down in AA, and they also have Connor Wong, I think, in single A, and then they also have Diego Cartaya, who's also lower down as well. But there's enough guys that just aren't ready to come up, but they value defense at that position, and what you're going to get is mostly Austin Barnes in this situation, right? So Austin Barnes does things that don't really show up on the stat sheet, because, and we talk about this on these blue reviews all the time, but this is why I like what I like from Austin Barnes, and you didn't see too much of from Russell Martin tonight. A lot of times what you're going to see from Austin Barnes is taking a lot of pitches and getting on base, whether it's by a walk or he gets a single or he does something. Yes, he's going to get out every once in a while, but a lot of times, especially with two outs, he gets on base, which brings up the pitcher, and then now you're not wasting that pitcher spot in the next inning. You're starting off the inning after that with the number one hitter, whether it's Kike or whether it's Jock Peterson, and that's a huge thing to have, and Austin Barnes understands his role there. Could they go after another catcher in that situation? Sure, but they want him to be, it has to be the right catcher. It needs to be somebody that is defensive minded and has a good bat, and those are very rare to find. And if you can find that, most likely you're not giving that up for anything for the most part. It's very rare to see that. It's like when the Dodgers, it was years ago, when they brought in Charles Johnson, and that's who he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be a hitter and a great defensive catcher, and he was terrible for the Dodgers. But that's a whole nother time, a whole nother situation. But so I could see more relief pitching come in, because you always can use more relief pitching. And again, every single time, the beginning of the year is different than the end of the year when it comes to that. When it comes there, and then it really just depends on how often it really gets to. How often there's injuries, depends on what you're looking for. There's what we have in June and July. We're really going to tell if somebody's struggling, if somebody gets hurt. That's when it really starts mattering. And look, my phone's back up, so I can maybe get this Instagram back up. Steven So, awesome grandpa voice, sounds like Ireland. There's nobody better at the grandpa voice than John Ireland. It is fantastic, and actually I forgot to do it. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. He needs to take calls as grandpa, and I think tomorrow would be a really good day to do that. All right, I do have Instagram back up, so hopefully people will see that again, and I'll be back. So if you're on Instagram, hello, I'm back on Instagram. My phone decided to actually just update, so there you go. Everyone already heard that. Julian, what, 619 bullpen help? Yep, pretty much. Frank the Tank 231, is Dallas Keuchel still available? Yeah, he has not been picked up. Dallas Keuchel is, but he's going to want 1 year, $17.9 million, which is the qualifying offer. And really, where are you going to slot him into the rotation? Are you going to sit Rich Hill? Probably not. No, definitely not. Are you going to sit Clayton Kershaw? Nope, not happening. Walker Buehler? Nope. Hyun-Jin Ryu? Absolutely not. And now look at Kenta Maeda the last 2 starts. He's been unbelievable. He's been that good. So no, you're not. I don't. There's no reason for Dallas Keuchel. You're just bringing him in just to bring him in at that point. So probably not. Some kind of wonder this team may be better than the 2017 Dodgers. You think we get to 100 plus wins? I mean, they're on pace for it right now. I think they're on pace for about 105, 106 wins. So yes, I do. I do think that this is going to be a better. They're gonna. How it's all working out, they're better than any team in the NL West. They're gonna, and they play those teams over and over again, 19 times I believe each. And that's if I'm wrong on that, please tell me I'm wrong on that because I'm forgetting the exact amount of games they play against the division. But I believe it's 19, and you play those, and you play 3 other teams. Was that 4 other teams in that position? So yeah, I mean that's a huge number, and they've already started working all over them right now and have a nice little lead. I think this is going to be just like 2017, where they just start off hot and move all the way through, and it's just a walk through. Just like the Red Sox last year. The Cubs did it in their World Series year. The Dodgers did it in 2017, and they got to the World Series. So a little bit more. Over here on Instagram, so I'm sorry, Instagram, but thank you for coming back. Chris HB85, we need a new closer. Absolutely not. I shouldn't be scared every time Kenley comes in. Your thoughts? I don't agree. I'm sorry. I do think that he can get worrisome at times, but Kenley Jansen is the closer of the Dodgers, and really and he has 14 saves. He's done what he gets guys on base, sure, but a lot of guys do. And if you're not worried every time any reliever comes on, that's just odd because I'm worried every time everybody comes on. That's how that is. Dodger Rebel. Hey, Dodger fans, are you still upset about the front office not picking up Bryce Harper? LOL. Hashtag I trust in Drew, and I trust Andrew. Absolutely. This is what we're talking. You know what? Weirdly enough, just for randomly, I went and I looked at Bryce Harper's stats. He's batting like 219, 7 home runs, a couple RBIs. He's not doing anything all that great. And usually he starts off hot, falls apart a little bit, and then starts hitting home. I mean, he's still going to hit 30 home runs. That's most likely going to happen. But still. I was never on the Bryce Harper train, and most people were. I wasn't. I would Cody Bellinger in right field is way, way, way better than Bryce Harper in right field. And even if Pollock went down and Alex Verdugo, I would rather have Alex Verdugo. I'm sorry, he's a better all-around player. If you look at just the defensive stats for Bryce Harper too, terrible. Absolutely terrible. Ryan D. Montez, that's what I said. It's looking like 2017. Yep, I mean, they're very similar parallels, hopefully with a better result. Steve Got Soul, our whole lineup works deep pitch counts. Huge point right there, and I love talking about just that thing. The lineup does. They're very, very patient. That's a huge thing to have when you're the Dodgers, when you're any type of Major League Baseball team, is because they understand the strike zone, and that's what they've learned with their hitting strategist, with Robert Van Scoyoc, who is the hitting coach, and their hitting analyst. They have all these different guys. Everybody gets their own reports of how they're about the scouting reports. This is important, and it happens so often. It didn't really happen tonight, but it happens a lot. You'll see over and over again, especially in that first inning, you're going to see pitchers that are usually pretty good going 25, 30 pitches in the first inning. And if you can get a couple runs across in those 25, 30 pitches that they move them up to, it's a huge thing to get that early bounce on them. However, if you still push them up to 30, then they go all the way to getting into the fifth. They only get to the fifth inning. Now, the pitcher tonight, Strom. Every time, for some reason, all I think about when I think of him is Hank Stram, and it's not Hank Stram. It's Mike Strom, Matt Strom. Yeah, so he has been a good pitcher for the Padres. He doesn't walk guys, and he walked a couple guys. He hit a couple guys tonight. He walked 2 men tonight. I think he only had 4 on the year, something like that. It's because a lot of that is the patience of these hitters and what they do consistently. Is all and just waiting for their pitch, and when it comes, usually they get a good piece of it, and that's why they're scoring so many runs. They have the second best offense, the Dodgers, in the National League. Only the Cubs have better, and that's because they're on a 20-5 stretch, right? 20-5 stretch right now. They've been fantastic, and again, that's another team I think could end up being there in the NLCS against the Dodgers, and that's what I thought it was going to happen last year, and all of a sudden it came back now. Lucio says on YouTube, says Jose Abreu. Jose Abreu as a first baseman, I think between Max Muncy and David Freese, I think they're set there, and if they really ever need a little bit of extra help, Cody Bellinger can come down there, even though he already said that they're not going to do that. It's better that way. Steve Got Soul, Bellinger better than Bryce. Again, agree with what you're saying there, always do. Chris HB85, little off topic, but you look nothing like I thought you did from listening to Mason in Ireland. Hell, you know what? I don't know what that means. That could be a compliment. That could be a diss. I don't know. You tell me. What does that actually mean? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? And really, either way, that's fine, Chris. Whatever you wanted to believe. Most of the time, and I love talking about this one too, is that most people think I look exactly like Chris Taylor. I think it's just because it's the beard, maybe. I don't know. But Chris Taylor, it's either Chris Taylor. Last year I got a little bit of Cody Bellinger. One of the weirdest ones I got last year was Yasiel Puig. I didn't see that one, but that was an odd one. Joe Cool, 1967. Other teams' pitchers come in hot till they face our lineup. Look at Chris Paddock just the other day. Absolutely. He had been one of the best pitchers in baseball early on, and the Dodgers got to him. It was only 3. He got 6 runs, only 3 earned, but doesn't matter. He got 6 runs off of him, and they made him work. Chris Paddock was not. That's people come in and they don't look. They even got a couple runs across against Max Scherzer. They got the win versus Steven Strasburg. Those are all things that are that's solid things to happen. Mr. A314, Greg, would you go big after Kimbrel? I know he wants the 9th, but the Dodgers have deep pockets. They do, but no, I wouldn't. He wants a lot of money. He wants to be the closer. He wants a lot of different things, and I do not think that he's worth it. I'm not going for it. Oh, here we go. Jay Larson, 700. Bryce Harper stat line, 220, 7 home runs, 25 RBIs, 100% not worth the money, and that was always the biggest thing. Is he worth the money? And the amount of money and the amount of years that he's got? No. Absolutely not. He was not worth that money whatsoever. And here's another one. This one's crazy to me too. 49 Irvik. Dave Roberts is no bueno. Why is he no bueno? 49 Irv, please tell me why you think Dave Roberts is no bueno. You have a team that's 29-16, and you're telling me that he's no bueno. That's a tough one to swallow. Let me know what you think there. Danny Boy 1911. Who do we target at the trade deadline? It really depends on what you need, and right now probably just relief pitching because you're not getting starting pitching. You're not getting a position player. Relief pitching is always needed. Chris, compliment my man. P.S. I like your knowledge and input. Hey, appreciate that, man. Thank you. Key09, will the Dodgers make any moves at the deadline? We got a lot of these deadline talks. Look, it's July 31st is the deadline. We are in May 13th. It's a little 13th, 15th, May 15th. Excuse me, May 15th. It is way too early to be talking about what we need at that point. It really just depends, and I think that's the biggest thing. Let's go through it. Where do you think we actually need help? And what relief pitching should we get? You would just need guys. It's Roogies and Loogies. You need guys that are best against left-handers. Your best guys against right-handers. But you're gonna look at your bullpen though. I mean, who are you actually trying to move out of the bullpen? Pedro Baez has been good. Nothing bad to say about Pedro Baez. Caleb Ferguson, when he comes back, he's been one of the best relief pitchers there. Ross Stripling is going to be great as a longer reliever in that situation. Maybe another long reliever, possibly. But besides that, I mean, Kenley Jansen is Kenley Jansen. He's not going anywhere. JT Chagua is, I don't know, he's all up and down. But most of these guys, Dylan Floro has been fantastic. You're going to get Tony Cingrani back. Scott Alexander has actually been really good. Yimi Garcia has been a little iffy, but he's been fine. Let's see. I have 2 questions, Ryan D. Montez. Go ahead and throw them out there while I answer something because you didn't finish. Oh, here. The first question is, who do we call up from OKC? Second, who would you like up to play in the World Series? We're very, very far away from the World Series. And who do I want to call up from OKC? What position are you looking for? There's plenty of guys, but right now I don't think there's anybody. I think if you need another pitcher, I would love to see Tony Gonsolin or Dustin May. I mean, he's not in OKC. I think Dustin May is actually in double A, but still, those are the types of guys that I would love to see, but they need time. They need to actually get innings. King Crossover put in the F Dodgers. Well, you're obviously a Giants fan and don't understand. Braves 8498. And what does my shirt say? My shirt says eat, sleep, hit bombs, repeat from Belly Bum. And this is from Bleed Los, at Bleed Los on Instagram, at Bleed Los on Twitter. And they have a whole bunch of stuff that all the shirts fit perfectly. I love these shirts. And you can see if you go over to their Instagram, that's probably the best place for you to go see it. And you can see everything that you need. And they'll have all their different designs, and you can find a way to just go click on them and buy one right off that way. They're very good stuff. Julian What 619. Corey is starting to heat up. Once he does, the rest of the league is in trouble. That is a huge thing to talk about. Corey Seager was not going to be Corey Seager at the beginning of the year. He was not. Wasn't going to happen. He had hip surgery. He had Tommy John surgery. He barely played in spring training. Corey Seager wasn't ready. I wasn't expecting Corey Seager to be Corey Seager until the middle of June. So whatever I get from him right now, I'm happy with. And he's really starting to heat up a little bit. They were talking about how he's changing his swing. They're talking about how he's going a little bit more oppo than he was. That's big. If he becomes more of a complete hitter too, yes, you're right. The rest of the league is in trouble. Austin Pacheco, 27, and Bryce is leading the league in strikeouts with 57. Whew, that's terrible. That's absolutely horrendous. And do we need strikeouts on this team? He doesn't fit that mold. It's just there. I know it's far, and I agree. Dustin May would be a great one to come. He's going to be very good. Bay Maxim Bay, I feel it, man. This is the year. Everything and everyone is on. It's still early. Let's wait. I believe it too. I'm very much in. This is the year. And by the way, just real fast. I love coming on here and talking Dodgers when I spent the entire baseball offseason talking about the Lakers and coming on after games. Every single game I came on after, and I talked about losses over and over and over again. Oh, it's so much nicer to just sit here and talk about wins. I love talking about a winning baseball team. It makes it so much more fun. I can laugh. I can smile. I can talk to you guys in a much happier tone. I'm not screaming at Dave Roberts. I'm not screaming at, Cody Bellinger for doing something silly. I'm just talking about how much I love the team and how everybody has been so good. Feels so much better. What was that? It's a hard one to read. Lil Ghetto Boy. Why doesn't Verdugo ever lead off? He's always on base. Because they're just not ready for him. It's still a small sample size when it comes to Alex Verdugo. We love what we're seeing from Alex Verdugo. Alex Verdugo has been fantastic, where he's over 900 OPS. He's getting on base consistently with a 370 on base percentage over that. He's doing a lot of great things, and he's consistently on base, but he's just not. The sample size is too small. They like to have large sample sizes. And look, Jock Peterson has been killing the ball. When it's against the righty, he just destroys it, home run after home run after home run. And Kike is another guy that gets on base a good amount and has been good against lefties. He's actually been good against everybody, even though his numbers overall look kind of lower than they should be. It's kind of a good guy to have getting on base early on, and has a lot of speed too. But yes, I think Verdugo has a chance to eventually take over that leadoff spot at some point. Let's see. Maxim Bay. Seager's getting closer and closer to the former self. Yep, agree. Eat, sleep, hit bombs sounds more like Jock. Yeah, but what do you mean? It does sound like Jock, but at the same time, Cody Bellinger has 15 home runs now and is leading the league in RBIs. That's the guy. Jedi Master, like watching your post-game shows. I'm missing one part of it. I'm so sorry about that. Hopefully it's a good thing that you're saying you like watching them. Diego Rod, do you think Verdugo is overrated? No, not at all. I love Verdugo. I think Verdugo is. There's a reason. We've talked about this on past post games as well. But Alex Verdugo is one of those guys that you would have moved him if the front office, who I trust completely, if he is one of those guys that they would have moved in this offseason. They would have moved him to Miami to try and get JT Realmuto if they didn't believe in Alex Verdugo. They didn't move him. So they kept onto him because they believe in him and they think that he's going to be because he's going to be a star. And he's starting to show that, yes, with time, he is becoming a star. It's very, very much like I believe in him wholeheartly. It's good to see Chris Taylor taking the time to do this talk show after a long game from Stevens. So, yeah, I know. I got it. It's Chris Taylor, yep. Let's see. Mr. A314, with Zaidi in San Francisco, is it more or less likely the hated Giants would be a trade partner? I don't think it's possible. I think that Zaidi would trade with the Dodgers, but it has to be the right move. And Zaidi is trying to bring in a lot of the things that happened here in LA up to San Francisco. It's just not working just yet, but it will. And that's going to be a team to worry about once they get rid of some of the big contracts and the old guys that they have. I mean, they have too many. There's not enough youth on that team, and really to build from below. So that's why that's why you bring in Zaidi, to make trades, to bring in more youth. You're going to see them tank. You're going to see the San Francisco Giants trade away big names: Madison Bumgarner, Evan Longoria, Pablo Sandoval, maybe even Buster Posey. They're going to move guys to get guys to go into the minor leagues so they can build from within. You're going to see a big change for that team. Let's see. Ryan H82. I love the situational hitting. Feel like it was missing the past couple years. Absolutely agree with that. Dub Quacker 7. Bryce Harper is tied for the league lead in strikeouts. Yeah, we said that. 57. Chris Camello 1. C Camello 1. Blake Trinan could be a guy to keep an eye on as well. Yep, he's in a contract year, and if A's are out, Bean could want to move him and have dealt with LA before. Billy Bean loves dealing with the Dodgers. He's done it a bunch of times. Andre Ethier came from Oakland. I believe Chris Taylor came from above, but they've made multiple moves. We just made a trade for who was it? They moved a bunch of young guys. Rich Hill and Josh Reddick, both from up there in Oakland. They love making them. And by the way, happy birthday, bud. Ryan D. Montez, good point. 3 miss. I don't know what that one is. Let's see. Ryan D. Montez, I was thinking about that today. We could have ended up without Bellinger, but we did the right thing. Right, there's so many times this front office has made the correct decision in not moving. There's so many people that say, move for the big name. Go get the big name. Go get me Bryce Harper. How dare you not get Bryce Harper? You know what? If you do that, eventually you're going to have to give up guys down the line. And over and over again, there was a lot of times where it was trade Corey Seager. We don't know what he's going to be. Trade Corey Seager. Trade Cody Bellinger. We don't know what he's going to be. Trade Walker Buehler. We don't know what he's going to be. Over and over and over again, the Dodgers front office refuses to make that move. And what happens? They become great guys. And that's what we're assuming that Alex Verdugo is going to become too, because they hold on to the right guys and they get rid of the wrong ones. And that's why I absolutely love this front office, and I can't say it enough. Steven So, Greg has fans in China. My crew here in Beijing listens to you religiously. Hey, that's awesome. Thanks a lot, Steve. So you're in Beijing too? Very cool. Well, shout out from Beijing. What time is it in Beijing? Isn't it like 11-hour difference, like 20-some hour difference? What time is it in Beijing right now? Let's see. It's 11 p.m. at night, so it's got to be like somewhere around noon. Is it noon right now for you, Steven? That's crazy. Hey, thanks for being here. The guy we traded for Puig is killing it. The guy we traded for Puig is Jeter Downs. He just started hitting big time. So again, that was a big name to bring in there. That was fine. They make the right decision over and over again. Ryan H82. When are they going to extend front office and Dave Roberts? Dave Roberts just got a new contract. They use it, and the front office should be. They will be extended at some point, I believe. Andrew Friedman's going nowhere. He's going to win a World Series with the Dodgers, and that's exciting to know. I believe it wholeheartedly. Lola the Hut, I feel like some fans expect perfection from the team since losing 2017 World Series. They need to relax a bit. Yes, every game, there's guys saying, I'll get to you in a second, El Grandes Ligas. Every game, there is somebody, if it's a loss, let me go into this I just want to look into my my mentions for just a second. I believe it was something along the lines of like, God, what was it? There's too many right now, but I'm not going to be able to find it. It was something along the lines of, what the heck is Roberts doing? Why did Roberts? Okay, we got that one. Then there was maybe he wanted to get a standing ovation. Shift. Oh yeah, they went into a shift He went into a shift against Eric Hosmer, and I got, shift? Why? Why are you doing the shift there? Because they beat it on a nice bunt from Eric Hosmer? Congratulations, Eric Hosmer. You made the right play there. But no, that is not, absolutely not. Like the shift, don't get upset by those types of things. That's silly. El Grandes Ligas 1, can you see my comments? I can, but they go by so fast sometimes that I can't stick them. So I'm going to go back a little bit to see if I can see what you said. Here we go. Will we see Will Smith once the roster extends? I could see it happening. They're bringing up Rocky Gale right now as your third catcher whenever they do that. But for some reason, so Will Smith is the better one of those. It's whether or not how his defense is doing in AAA, how his offense. He is the better offensive player than Rocky Gale. Rocky Gale is not anything spectacular to me. He's not. I don't believe that he's anything that we're really looking at him saying like, oh, hey, Rocky Gale's the guy. So Will Smith eventually will. Maybe he needs another year. Right now, this is kind of for the catcher, it's kind of like a transition year. You're hoping that Austin Barnes and Russell Martin get you through this year, and someone like Austin Barnes maybe comes and and pushes himself forward, and then next year you can bring up Will Smith or Keibert Ruiz, and those guys will be ready next year. But I could see Will Smith absolutely being one of the guys to come up when the rosters expand. Yes. Ryan DeMont says, I think Downs went 4 for 4 or 5 for 5 with the Quakes today, according to Sportsnet LA. Yes. Jeter Downs did have a big game today. I don't know. And if you want to know anything ever about what's going on with the Dodgers in the minor leagues, at Future Dodgers. Fantastic. Always has, from every single part of the Dodgers from single A to from Rancho Cucamonga to Tulsa, AA Tulsa, AAA Oklahoma City, always have stats up and down, and they have great stuff on all the young guys. So follow at Future Dodgers if you're looking for someone like that. 2:14 p.m. Steven So. Oh boy, it's 11:14 here. So what is that? That is 12, 13, 14, 15 hours ahead. Jeez. That's awesome that you're sitting there at 4:15 on Friday or Thursday. Listen to me. Appreciate that, man. J. Marsal 8, random, but what was up with the d'Arnaud trade? The d'Arnaud trade, look, you were able to sign Travis d'Arnaud, and then you flip him for cash. I think that was just getting cash. There was nothing else to it than just bringing in a guy who used to be a good offensive player and has some defensive abilities, and you were just trying to flip him. And that's what Andrew Friedman does. He finds guys and he flips them when he needs to, and that was a perfect one for him. So that's a good point to bring up. But yeah, that was just a straight flip. Let's see. David, what's up, man? Can't help but think you are ignoring me. Interesting. I'm not ignoring you. It's just there's a whole bunch of other comments here, David. I don't ignore anybody. But you might be somebody I ignore. It's because you're a giant troll. Especially on the Slack, for the Showtime Forum Slack. Jeez. But you are the best. And actually, I was just telling Michelle the other day, this dude cracks me up. Every day, we're in Slack for Showtime Forum, which is the Lakers site that I run. And I got a bunch of great guys. And there's actually going to be a really good podcast coming up from Adel Del Toro and Rael Barbone and Javier Hernandez. Oh, shoot. I don't know your last name. Sorry. I think that's right, though. From Javier, that should be coming out tomorrow. But in the Showtime Slack, David, it just trolls everybody, every single person there. It doesn't matter who you are. He'll troll himself if he has to. It's very, very funny, though. And he does hope that Will Smith comes up there. So there you go, David. Not ignoring you. Jay Larson 700. Has there been any news on Andrew Toles? Really liked him as a player. I did too, but the last I heard about Andrew Toles, and we can look him up together in just a moment, but the last I heard about Andrew Toles, he was on personal leave, and then he went back to Camelback Ranch after he got off of personal leave, and I haven't really heard much from him since, and he's very much blocked. Very, very much blocked. Wait till you see what I did on Twitter of you. Oh no, David, what did you do? Oh, I'm not. I'm afraid. Joe Cool 1967. Do we still have Andrew Toles? I was just talking about. Yes, he did. Last I heard, that's where he was. What's his name again? LOL. Ryan D. Montes, going back to the Lakers really quick. I can't believe Magic stepped down. Wow, you're going like way far back here. I think we've talked about Magic Johnson a few times, way long ago. So no, I'm not. I'm like, he stepped down now. You want to hear from Magic Johnson? Go listen to First Take on Monday. Magic Johnson will be in studio. I can't imagine he's going to say anything bad about the Lakers or the organization, but if he does, be great television. El Grandes Ligas 1. He wants attention. Will giving him attention. Giants troll. Oh, no. David is not a Giants troll whatsoever. David is a Dodger fan. He's a Laker fan. He's a great dude. He just likes making fun of everybody, and he makes fun of himself too. So it's not bad at all. Steven, so we get Sportsnet in LA and China, folks. You get it too. That's good for you. We don't get it here. I have to get it other ways. Jay Mersal 8. Even if he's okay, there's no room for him right now. Exactly. There is just no room, and it's a wonderful problem to have. I love having that problem. Oh, and I totally went away from Facebook, so I'm sorry. Ray Barsamian, I see you writing a whole bunch of stuff. I want to get into everything here. Maybe left a little bit more left-handed middle relief at the deadline. That is about it. Sure. Guillermo Ochoa, what's your thought on Joe Kelly? I think Joe Kelly will eventually be fine. I think it's going to just take a little bit of time for him. Look, Joe Kelly is Joe Kelly right now. He's having some problems. You need to continue him in low leverage situations until he shows that he can be really, really good, and then you can start putting him in the higher situations. But right now, he's not the eighth inning guy. He's just a situational. You're up 13-4 or down 13-4, and you just need outs. That's when you put in Joe Kelly right now. Just let him show. The last time I actually really watched him, because I missed a bunch of games over the weekend for Mother's Day and stuff, so if he pitched, I missed it. It was very much, it was like 11 pitches, throwing 98, 99. So it looks like it's starting to come back. It's just not back yet. Let's see. I got Jermaine Armenta. Our bullpen needs to hang in during the later innings, because those are the most nerve-wracking innings of all. That's how it is for every team, though. That's nothing new here. Ray Barsamian, I just found my Jock Peterson rookie, only one I have. I thought I lost it. Well, good for you. Glad you have it, man. That's you're not going to get much for it. Ryan D. Montes, where is the stream on Facebook? The stream on Facebook is just under me. It is my personal Facebook. It is at Greg Bergman. Just go look up Greg Bergman. I think it's some weird Greg Bergman .790 or something like that, but that's where that is. DZ, what's up, Odell? That's my man right there. Watching Machado play against the Dodgers makes me hate him even more. So glad he's no longer a Dodger. This team is like a breath of fresh air. Something is different about this team this year. It is very different this year, and this is another situation. And you're right. It's fun to watch them. It is a breath of fresh air. There's something about this team. You just expect them to win games. You expect them to win series. You expect them to get to the World Series again. And barring any types of injuries, this team has all of it. They have pitching. They have relief pitching. They have position. They have defense. They do everything really well. They should be able to walk right through into the playoffs. Let's hope that it stays that way. Brian Sawyer, 79. They all love each other. Band of brothers. They do. And that was a big portion of why Yasiel Puig is no longer on this team. And Justin Turner had a comment just about Yasiel Puig. When he wanted to be good, he was good. When he didn't care. If he could be like that every day, then he was. But you could tell in the locker room what changes when he's not there. And as much as we all love him, that's how it goes. And I am over an hour. I don't have my 2-minute warning because Instagram got all screwed up in the middle of everything. But this is my 2-minute. I'm actually going to make it like a minute warning here. I'm just going to do one question from each, say goodbye, and then we'll move on from there. Let's see. I'm going to try and pick and choose here. This is actually kind of funny. Steven, so let's bring in Joe Kelly whenever they hit JT. On board. 99 miles an hour in the butt. He's going to leave a nice bruise on there. Fine. Just don't hurt anybody, but that's fine there. Joe Kelly, the JT retaliator. Fine. Let's see. Mr. A314, speaking of the Peterson rookie card, can you get Mace to bring up his stash of Frank Thomas X's? I don't know how much I believe that he actually has it. He says he does. Off the air, he says he does. He's in Hawaii right now. We don't know if that's going to happen. Dodger Rebel, seeing them score. This is my man right here, too. Seeing them score and starting rallies with 2 outs were something we didn't see last year. No, they were terrible with 2 outs. Runners in scoring position, 2 outs was really bad last year. Totally changed so far at the beginning of the year. And if they continue that, it's going to be very, very strong. El Grandes Ligas 1, love you, man. You're great. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Love you, too. Brian Sawyer, with AJ sit when he returns or sit Alex. You're probably put but it depends on who's playing best at that point. If Verdugo is killing the ball, he's going to stay in. But we are going to see AJ. AJ will absolutely go right back into a starting rotation. Ray Barsamian, Dylan Floro is throwing better too. He is very good. I love Dylan Floro. Let's see. I'm going to see if there's anything here on Twitch. Nothing here on Twitch. All right. That is going to do it for me. Thank you so much for being with me here on the Blue Review. Remember to go to @BleedLos to get shirts just like this. Eat, Sleep, Hit Bombs, Repeat, Belly Bomb shirts. Make sure to go over there and check them out. Thank you very much for being with me here. It is now 11:30 at night, and I have been here for 15 hours. I'm ready to go home, and I'm going to do just that to be back here at 9 o'clock in the morning. So thank you again for being here. Love you guys. 29-16 for the Dodgers, and I will be back next Wednesday against Tampa Bay on the road. I might even have a guest with me next Wednesday. We'll see. I'm either going to be solo or I'll have a guest, but I think I like being solo right now pretty early on. All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you being here. I'm out of here. See ya.